UFC 330 featuring Makhachev versus Gary for our main event, and with the co-main event of our women's strawweight title bout of Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. This card is actually not all that bad. This card is actually pretty entertaining. I know the name value isn't crazy across the board, but it's still going to be a very fun, interesting fight card to watch. And let's be honest, even if it was not fun or interesting, we're going to be tuning in and watching every single week. The UFC knows that. I like this card overall, man. There's a lot of good, decent fighters, man. Jalen Turner is fighting. Monster Abdul Malik is fighting. Edson Barbosa, Esteban Ribovic, Cheating Njokwani, Yoel Alvarez, Dante Johnson, Vicente Luque, Neil Magny, Mirtek Orobot. I don't think this is a bad card, man. Like, a lot of people are just, really down on it. I think it's a pretty decent card, man. Let's get started right away. UFC 330 for our very main event. We got Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Gary for our welterweight title bout. Ian Machado Gary finally gets a chance at the welterweight title, and it's against the very dominating Islam Makhachev. Ian's gonna have a very hard time on this when it comes to the ground, if it gets there, and it probably will, man. It probably will. I just don't know how long Islam can be able to hold down Gary for, but if Islam gets into the mount position top control, oof, goodbye one round. But getting Ian down is actually very tough. Ian Machado Gary's takedown defense has improved drastically over the years, over his long career inside the UFC and very long fight time in the octagon, because he usually goes the full 15 minutes. Gary was able to stuff every single takedown of Bilal Muhammad, and that very much surprised me, because I thought Bilal Muhammad would actually get Gary down not too difficult, but Gary's takedown defense looked phenomenal there. Now, if we're going to compare Bilal and Shavkat's takedowns to Islam's, I think Islam's takedown entries and the way that he does his judo flips is superior to both of them. But on the feet, man, I think Islam is going to be not a severe disadvantage, but definitely a disadvantage. Islam's boxing is actually pretty underrated in the entirety of his game, because so much of his game is his dominant wrestling, so a lot of people kind of forget that his striking's pretty decent. He just is vulnerable, just like every single other fighter when they're striking on the feet. He's a little bit defensively flawed in the striking, and Ian Machado Gary could possibly catch him, but the thing is, Gary doesn't load up on his punches. A lot of his punches are kind of pitter-patter point style strikes. Like, they're not carrying a whole lot of power. That's why he's not gotten a whole lot of knockouts. But Gary has a chance here, man, especially if Islam does not get the takedowns. When, we've seen it time and time again, when dominant wrestlers cannot get the takedowns, they have a high possibility of getting knocked out. Ian Machado Gary has not gotten a knockout in freaking years, man. But I'm kind of looking at this fight, and I'm seeing it. If Islam cannot get the takedowns, Ian is eventually going to knock out Islam, and it's all going to start with the calf kicks. Gary has very heavy calf kicks that have taken guys clean off their feet, fallen on their butt. Neil Magny. Like, Gary has very strong calf kicks, man. And when I rewatched the Islam fight versus JDM and Dustin Poirier, they both hit Islam with calf kicks, and Islam, some he checked, but some he wasn't able to react to check in time, and the body language did not look all too good. I wouldn't be surprised here if Ian Machado Gary could calf kick and Islam just drops. Like, I see that playing out, man. But I am talking in the context of Ian Machado Gary getting his own game plan off and him winning the fight. If we're talking about Islam winning the fight, man, Islam he can win it however he wants besides a knockout. I don't think he can win a knockout. I don't think he knocks out Ian Gary. But Islam, he could win this in two ways. The very first way is the most boring way, where he just takes down Ian every single round and just lays on him the same way that he did JDM, searching for submissions, threatening ones, so he keeps position and just maintains 25 minutes of control time. Or the second route, where Islam gets the takedown, starts working to get into mount position, into a more dominant position, and then finding the submission over Ian Gary. That's definitely possible. I don't know how Islam wins this fight. It could be via submission or it could be via decision. Ian, to me, he could win this fight either knockout or decision. This is very tough for me to pick off rip, man, because I usually pick fights basically off odds and plausibility. The plausibilities spread so much across this fight, and then the odds are all heavily skewed to Islam. Like, Islam, if he wins this dominantly, then the minus 350 is going to look free, right? But if he does not win this dominantly, you're going to be looking at your ticket and you're going to be like, what did I even do this for? So, this fight most likely goes to decision, man. Like, I'd probably just take fight to go to decision or Islam submission. I don't have a winner for this fight, man. Islam should win, so he'll be the pick, but not really excited to make any plays on this fight, man. I'll just watch it as a fan. Now we're talking women's strawweight title bout: Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. Mackenzie Dern is going to be the grappler that is superior here, and her striking is also going to be superior as well too. Jillian Robertson, I know, is so hyped up. I know her well too. I played her for many finishes. She's done me really solid. I have a lot of love for her, but she has not improved her striking whatsoever. Her striking is very subpar. A lot of her significant strikes have been accrued from ground and pound. Now her ground and pound, that's not subpar. That's actually hellacious. That's actually devastating. Actually, fight ending, some might say. Jillian Robertson, her only path to victory here is getting a ground and pound knockout finish. Other than that, man, I see, if this is on the feet, Dern to me is going to find the knockdown eventually and then secure position from top. If this fight hits the mat, I think Dern submits Jillian Robertson. I think Dern submits her pretty easily, man. How I kind of see this fight playing out, this is an eagle play, by the way. I think Jillian Robertson is confident enough in her own game plan and her own skills that Jillian Robertson is going to fight the same way she has always fought. She's going to march forward, throw some loopy combinations, and then grab a takedown, and then try to establish mount position. Now if she does this against Dern, which I know for a fact she will, because Jillian Robertson does not fear anybody when it comes to grappling, because she thinks she can hang up there with the best. And the best in this situation is Dern, and I just don't think she can actually hang out with Dern. Maybe she might be able to stay safe for a little bit, but I think Jillian Robertson is going to take down Mackenzie Dern and then get submitted. And I think that happens early. I think Mackenzie Dern is going to submit Jillian Robertson, and this is going to be a free title defense for Mackenzie Dern. And everybody that played the over probably gets fried. Jalen Turner versus Cowie Fernandez for our lightweight bout. I love Cowie Fernandez, man. He's done me so well on all the tickets as an underdog. He plus 300 against Gurum Kutaladze. I love that. And it was domination, all 3 rounds by Cowie. Cowie's a very high volume striker, but most of his significant strikes is actually his leg kicks, his calf kicks to be exact too. Cowie Fernandez, phenomenal kicker, in and out style, very fast on the feet, poor head movement, but good feet movement, and usually that's how he avoids strikes coming back at him. Jalen Turner, high power finisher. He can finish you on the feet with his power. He can ground and pound you out, or he can club and sub. Jalen Turner has some nasty submissions as well too. I don't think Jalen Turner is all that good off of his back. I don't think he's all that good if he's the one being pressed or he's on the defensive. But if Jalen Turner is on game, utilizing all his assets and strengths, I think Jalen Turner is a phenom as well. I think Jalen Turner is a physical monster. I think Jalen Turner knocks out Cowie Fernandez off of Cowie Fernandez's leg kicks. Cowie Fernandez, whenever he throws his calf kicks or his leg kicks, they're naked. There's no follow-up behind them with his punches. There's follow-up, but it's further kicks. And when Cowie kicks, he leaves his chin exposed. I think Jalen Turner team has done the research. I think Jalen Turner himself has seen this. It might not happen right away on the first exchange, but when Jalen Turner gets the timing down, I think he knocks out Calvin Fernandez off of an extended leg kick. Give me Jalen Turner here by knockout, confidently. Mansour Abdul-Malik versus Dustin Stolfus for our middleweight bout. Mansour Abdul-Malik finishes Dustin Stolfus. Dustin Stolfus, to me, is very similar to Dusko Todorovic, and Mansour finished Dusko Todorovic in round 1. I don't see him not being able to replicate the same success. The only possible thing for me is Mansour just came off of a round 3 knockout, so maybe he's a little bit more gun shy, maybe he plays it a little bit more safe, maybe he's more concerned about his chin or absorbing damage, so he doesn't do it. But I like Mansour Abdul-Malik to finish this fight, man. It could be decision because Mansour starts pretty slow, or like he's not inclined to find the finish fast, but Dustin Stolfus' chin is, it's not that great, man. I think Mansour Abdul wins this fight by knockout, most likely. Edson Barbosa versus Esteban Ribovic for our lightweight bout. Esteban Ribovic knocks out Edson Barbosa here. Barbosa's completely out of his prime. He's a lot much downhill. He doesn't absorb damage as well. And overall, his cardio is just not there anymore. I used to see Edson Barbosa spam 20 of his spinning kicks in one round. Now, in his most recent 5 fights, he's thrown 1 to 3 spinning kicks per fight. How does a man go from 20 in one round to 1 to 3 in a whole entire 15-minute duration? It's because old age is catching up to him. Edson Barbosa has been in many wars, man. It's not good for his body. I think the wear and tear has piled up on him. This would be such a good fight to watch in his prime, man. But I think Esteban Ribovic, being the more durable guy here, higher volume, I think he's gonna high volume outpace Barbosa and eventually find the TKO stoppage off of volume and Barbosa not intelligently defending enough. Give me Esteban Ribovic to knock out Edson Barbosa here. Cheetah Njokuani versus Yoel Alvarez for our welterweight bout. On the feet, you got to favor Cheetah Njokuani, man. And this fight is going to stay on the feet, too. Yoel Alvarez is not the type of guy to shoot for a takedown. Yoel Alvarez, most of his submissions are from people shooting takedowns on him and him finding a guillotine or some kind of submission over them from their takedown. Cheetah Njokuani is a striker through and through. He is not going to be going for takedowns against Yoel Alvarez. Yoel Alvarez's only takedown and only successful takedown was against Vicente Luque in his second most recent fight. And that's against washed Luque. Cheetah Njokuani is probably on his way to being washed, but I don't think he's there yet. I think he still has power in his hands, and I still think he has the striking combinations to pose a threat for Yoel Alvarez. But if this fight gets down onto the map, I think it's an instant sub for Yoel Alvarez. But on the feet, man, Yoel is very liable to be knocked out by Cheetah Njokuani. Guys, remember, power is the very last thing to go, and I think Cheetah still has it. I don't think he's in his prime, but I do believe that he still has that dog in him. I saw that dog in him against Carlos Leal, and I had Carlos Leal by knockout. I thought that was free off of round 1. Cheetah Njokuani stayed in that fight, and he still threw back as well too. Did he win any rounds? I don't think so. But he damaged Carlos Leal at moments, and I was surprised because Cheetah took a huge beating, but he did not go down. I like this fight not to go the distance. I like Yoel Alvarez submission or Cheetah Njokuani by knockout. I still haven't figured out what play I want to make for this fight, but I favor those exact outcomes because I don't see this fight ending any other way. Dante Johnson versus Eric McConaughey. I'm gonna say these guys now. Eric McConaughey, a lot of people are on him because of his win over Vieira. Vieira is a BJJ grappler specialist. He's a 6-time BJJ champion. A lot of his win equity and his skill set is in the ground in his jiu-jitsu. Yes, he developed a pretty decent jab. Like, you gotta give Vieira credit, man. He developed a pretty decent jab. But Vieira is a gasser. Vieira does not have much striking outside of the jab. And he definitely does not have the KO power to knock out Eric McConaughey. You know who does have all that? Dante Johnson. I know people are really low on Dante Johnson off of that performance, that pretty disgusting performance against Cody Brenage, which you could argue Cody won that split decision. And Dante Johnson's pretty defensively flawed as well. He's always just in your face, chin in the air, like, just not a good look. I don't think Dante Johnson will go that far into the division, but Dante Johnson does have raw power. He's not a technical fighter at all, man. Like, if you're watching him, like, technical, no technicality at all. But Dante Johnson, with those wild overhands and wild hooks and wild swings of his, he's going to find the chin of Eric McConaughey. McConaughey is very hittable, very defensively flawed. I think Dante Johnson's going to rock McConaughey, and I think it's going to be the fight. Maybe a little bit of follow-up. I think this is the greatest sell-high spot of Eric McConaughey and greatest buy-low spot of Dante Johnson. Give me Dante Johnson to finish Eric McConaughey. I'm confident in this one as well, too. Vicente Luque versus Tresean Gore for our middleweight bout. Luque is being caught by Gore at the perfect time. Luque is at the very end of his career. I'm not going to say tail end. I think this should be his retirement fight. Vicente Luque does not eat damage well. After that brain bleed from Geoff Neal, I don't think he's been the same fighter. He quit to me against Yoel Alvarez. His corner just forced him to fight. And could you even call the third round a fight? Luque just sat down there, waited for his execution, and I honestly feel like Yoel Alvarez felt bad for him and just allowed him to survive. Tresean Gore, on the other hand, is not a very trustworthy guy himself. But I do believe that he is coming into the fighter that he is meant to be. His record's very shot at 7-4, so he has to win a whole lot of fights before that record gets impressive. But Tresean Gore is not a quitter, man. He has a hell of a chin on him, absorbs a lot of shots, and the best thing about him is I don't think he's going for takedowns. I don't think he's going to stick his neck into a guillotine and be submitted like Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum was winning the fight on the feet, even rock Luque, and then all of a sudden decided to go shoot for a takedown and get submitted, man. What the heck are we doing? That was his only win condition, Luque's only win condition, and Gastelum gave it to him. Tresean Gore is not going to be that guy. He's not going to shoot. He's going to knock out Luque on the feet, or it's going to be a club and sub. I think Tresean Gore, untrustworthy as he is, I think this is his coming out party. Maybe the Bukayo fight was already his coming out party. This might be the staple over Luque, who's just washed. I think Tresean Gore finishes Luque here. Maybe not early, but definitely will finish him. Up next, we got Rafael Tobias versus Lucas Fernando for our light heavyweight bout. Lucas Fernando's gas tank is abysmal, and his takedown defense needs a lot of work. The fact that he lost to Azamat Bakayev in a 5-round fight, who Bakayev is a gasser, and the fact that Bakayev won a 5-round fight against Lucas Fernando is a terrible look. But most of it was off of takedowns and control time. That's actually kind of Rafael Tobias' style, but Tobias is looking to take you down and submit you. He's not looking to take you down and grind out a decision, though. But maybe it changes because he just suffered his first loss inside the UFC, so who knows? But a lot of people are down on Tobias right now because of that bad loss to DR. But in that fight against DR, if Tobias had like 20 more seconds in end of round 1 or round 2, whatever round that he had that submission locked in, I think Tobias would be going into this fight at better odds than plus 240. Or sorry, at, like lower odds than plus 240. Tobias is very hittable, though. I will say that. Tobias' striking leaves a lot of room for just improvement, growth, love. He's very hittable on the feet, and he doesn't react that well, but he still survives. He has a hell of a chin on him. Was dropped by DR, though. I don't think it got counted, but he was dropped by DR. But he's very hittable, very green, training partner of Marco Tullio, 23, still young in his age, so he can definitely grow. But this fight, I kind of see it happening two ways. Lucas Fernando finds the knockout in round 1, or Tobias finds the submission a little bit later off of... Because Lucas Fernando, I'm going to be honest with you, has 7.5 minutes of gas tank. If he can't find the knockout, and then he's slow, sloppy. But Tobias is also slow and sloppy too, so this might be a fight that I just straight up stay away from. Everyone's really favoring Lucas Fernando. I see it happening possibly, but I kind of like Tobias, man. Do I like him enough to play him now? Give me this fight to not go the distance. Neil Magny versus Ramiz Brahimaj for our welterweight bout. This is gonna be crazy to hear for most people, but I think Neil Magny beats Ramiz Brahimaj. Ramiz Brahimaj needs to get this fight to the ground, and I just don't see him being able to have success in taking down Neil Magny. And if he doesn't have success, then it's just clinching against the fence, and that is prime real estate for Neil Magny. If this fight goes to a lot of clinching on the fence, I think Neil Magny is going to win this fight by finish in round 3. But other than that, Ramiz Brahimaj definitely has a potential to knock out Neil Magny early, and he has the potential to submit Neil Magny early. But the size discrepancy is a lot, man. Physicality is a lot inside MMA, especially if it's going to be playing out in the clinch like I'm expecting it to. Neil Magny is 6'3", Ramiz Brahimaj is 5'11". Neil Magny is going to be pushing and making Ramiz Brahimaj shoulder all of that weight on top of him. And I just don't think that's going to be good for Ramiz Brahimaj, who doesn't even have a good gas tank to begin with. If Brahimaj is holding his own weight up and holding Neil Magny's weight up, I think he's going to gas faster than any other fight that we've seen. But he does have that dog in him. He does push through. I think being in Bloodline, that camp has really worked on his striking. That's why, hence, I said the KO earlier. But I kind of think Neil Magny squeaks out this win, either a round 3 finish or a decision victory. Jeremiah Wells versus Maitek Orabai versus in our welterweight bout. I think Orabai gets this win however he wants. He is the superior wrestler, better striker, higher power, better grappling, better submissions, all over around more of a threat, man. And Wells, to me, was losing that Themba Gorimbo fight until round 3, where he won and then he got the decision victory. Power is the last thing to go, though, so he maybe could catch Orabai on the chin, but Orabai's pretty durable himself. Orabai has absorbed a lot of shots himself, too. I just don't see Jeremiah Wells winning this fight, man. His only win equity is a knockout, and it has to be early, too. Other than that, I think Orabai drowns him. I think Orabai is going to take him down, drag him to the mat, find a submission, or just grind out a decision victory. Give me Orabai here, man. Confident. And that concludes UFC 330. I hope you guys liked the whole entire breakdown. I tried my best to make this as very fast as I could. Hit it under the 23-minute mark. I like that a lot. If you like my content, please make sure to follow, like, subscribe, comment. It really helps with the algorithm. And that's it for the Certified 330 UFC 330 breakdown. I really hope you guys enjoyed.